My experience in the military is that it is overwhelmingly a Christian organization. I mean, I think you are the only Jewish chaplain I've ever met. And most of the chaplains I have met, in my opinion, don't even attempt to represent everyone. You know, they pray in the name of Christ, and they, celebrate Christmas, and they tell you when you're hurting or down how much Jesus loves you, and things that just didn't resonate with me at all. And so for 7 years in the military, I felt like I was it. I felt like I was the lone Jew, like the quota, um, or the token or something. I was it. And so for most of my life, like, I'm okay being a bit of a minority. I'm perfectly willing to share my culture with people. I open my home for Shabbat dinners and for things like that, to people who want to come. But man, I felt really outcast in the military. It was one of the few times in my life where my religious background made a major contribution in my regular, maybe not daily, but weekly or monthly kind of life. It was in my face a lot. And so I think just understanding, just having other people who might have more of a shared understanding of where you come from. I mean, Judaism's different even across the United States and in place to, I mean, I'm a Reconstructionist, right? You get west of Philadelphia, there's no other Reconstructionists. Uh, so so there's diversity even across the United States in Jewish experiences. I don't want to imply that just because two people grew up Jewish, they get each other. But it definitely makes you feel less alone. There's a psychiatrist named Irvin Yalom who wrote a book about group therapy. And one of the things he says in group therapy, because he's an existentialist, and existentialism believes we're all alone. So it was asked, what's the value in group therapy if we're all alone? His answer was, imagine you're on a ship out at a stormy sea, and you're bucketing water out of the hull, and you're trying not to go down, and you're trying to avoid hazards in the water, and you're trying to keep your sails afloat, and you're hustling and trying to just not drown in this storm. You're just trying to live it out, wait it out. And you look out at the horizon and you see the lights of all these other ships on the horizon also bucketing water out and trying to survive, and you really can't do anything to help them, and they really can't do anything to help you, and yet it's comforting to know you're all fighting the same storm. So I think that's the value.
Excellent. Yeah, the camaraderie in the midst of all the challenge.
Right. The story I was sharing with you was I got stationed down in the Florida Panhandle, which is very much the deep South, and not very Jewish, not a very big Jewish population. And when I was in the mental health clinic at Eglin Air Force Base, I had a commander who was a lieutenant colonel. When he first got there, was very excited that I was Jewish. And for me, I immediately thought that was him taking an interest in diversity. I think because I grew up on the East Coast where things are very diverse, I'm fascinated by people who are different than me. I love to eat different foods and learn different traditions and learn about different practices, even within the Jewish community, but certainly outside. I am fascinated. I will go out of my way to take an invitation to somebody's house for some religious event that I've never heard of before but been invited to, And so I thought he shared that with me, and that quality with me, and was very excited to have somebody who I felt like maybe was an ally for me being very much a minority. And so I had to go into his office to discuss something about the clinic, and he started asking me about Judaism a little bit, and I speak a tiny bit of Hebrew, and he was fascinated by that. And in that conversation, he told me how valuable it was for him to have a Jewish person on his staff, not because he valued diversity, but because by knowing me better, he could better understand Christ. So.
Yeah, not quite the celebration of diversity we'd hoped for.
Yeah. Well, I told him in that case he should definitely not follow me around on the weekends.